guys, this is Not Lambers of Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at my D2D deck profile. This is a deck that's pretty interesting. We did get D2D Abyss King Gilgamesh in Dual Overload, and I'm not gonna lie, when the D2D structure deck came out, like even before then, I was scooping up a lot of the D2D stuff because I was super excited to play this deck, and it's been doing pretty well. If you look at like the I think it's called the LCS on like Facebook, so it was really cool. And I'm sorry that I didn't like shave or anything for this one. There's been a lot of stuff happening, so hopefully you guys can understand. But anyways, let's get right into the deck profile. We're gonna zoom in. And we're gonna move the spells, traps, all that crap off to the side. And right before we get into it, I do want to say down in the description there's a link to our Discord, our Teespring, our Cashapp, our Ko-fi, and our Patreon. So if you feel like supporting the channel, that is where to do it. You support the channel directly, and that keeps stuff happening. That gets the cameras, that gets the tripods, the lights, the decks. So with that said, let's start. The first card is, of course, 3 DD7 Kepler. On normal summon, he gets to search a Dark Contract card or target another DD you control and return it to the hand. So really cool card. He has a pendulum effect that like reduces itself by 2, I think, every standby phase, and then it blows up everything with a level that's not in between your pendulum scales. So a really cool little card, but you almost never use him for the pendulum part. Next up, we have the best tuner for DDDs ever, and this thing makes DD so good. That's DD Lamia, and it says if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send a DD or Dark Contract card from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard, except DD Lamia. Special summon that card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Lamia once per turn, and this thing is so good. You're able to bring it back with Genghis, with Big Alexander, with Little Alexander. This thing is so good, and it just allows you to keep summoning, and then of course it can bring itself back. So this card really does help the deck a lot. I'm gonna just turn that a little bit. I feel like it's not facing me totally. All right, there we go. Next up we have the slimes, which is 3 green or swirl slime. I'm colorblind, so I don't really, like, I never understood why people called this green slime, because I was like, isn't he like yellow and blue? Because I'm an idiot. But yeah, 3 swirl slime. This allows you to fusion summon using materials in your hand, including itself, which is really cool. And then it has the bonus effect to banish itself from the graveyard to special summon a DD monster from your hand, which is really useful when you have stuff like Ragna and DD7. I think it's Thomas. I think Thomas is the other really good target for this one. Next up, we have 3 Necro Slime. Necro Slime is really good. This is the one that lets you banish materials from your graveyard, including itself, to fusion summon a DD. So Swirl and Necro are both really good. I've seen people play 2 Necro. I like 3, just because then you get to see it. You usually want to open Swirl and Necro because they let your plays get going. Next up, we move into the beefier lads that are the last 3 of, actually, and this is one of the beefier boys. 3 DD Abyss King Ragnarok, and this guy is my favorite DD monster. He is so good. So if this card is normal special summon, you can target a DDD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use that effect of Oblivion, and once per turn you contribute another DD you control and target a monster your opponent controls and banish it. So that's really cool. He's a 3000 booty, so super awesome, just a big defender, but he's also a level 8, so you overlay him to like Kali Yuga or Hope Harbinger, which is really cool. And his pendulum effect is like just as good as his monster effect. It's if you special summon a DD monster, except during the damage step, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard. Any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved, and then for the rest of this turn, and then you get to special summon that monster and then take 1000 damage. But all those restrictions aside, this is an insane card. 2 reborn effects on 1 guy. Love it. And that's it for the 3 of DDs. Next up, we have the dude who I mentioned earlier. This is Thomas. This is another card that I don't really use the pendulum effect for. It says during your main phase, you can add a face-up DD pendulum from your extra deck to your hand, which is kind of nice. But there's another DD monster that's much better that does something similar. But his monster effect is you can target a DD card in your pendulum zone, destroy it, and if you do special summon a level 8 DD monster from your deck in defense mode, but for the rest of this turn, its effects, if any, are negated and any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved. So basically you special summon this off of Swirl Slime, and then you special summon Ragna off of him, which is how you do. And then you overlay into like a Kali Yuga or Hope Harbinger. That's really what you do. And then for the other two we have 2 Copernicus. Copernicus is the Foolish Burial for the deck. He says, if this card is normal special summon, just send 1 DD or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard. Except Copernicus, you can only use this effect of Copernicus once per turn. So, pretty cool little card, and you can see it's like Copernicus, and he has like the sun and the solar system, because Copernicus, if you don't know, he was the dude who figured out the way that the stars and the sun move and the planets, and that they have like an orbit. But yeah, and then Thomas is supposed to be Thomas Edison, so he has like a big light bulb in his head. I always love that about the DDs. They feature such cool stuff like that. His pendulum effect is you can't pendulum summon monsters at DDs. This effect can't be negated. Once while this card's in your pendulum zone, you can negate an activated spell effect that would inflict damage to you, then destroy this card. So, there we go. That's it for the 2-ofs. And then for the 1-ofs, I play 1 Baphomet because it lets you modulate levels between the DDs, so he's kind of useful. I've always liked playing Baphomet, so I like him. And then I'm playing 1 Vice Typhon, which if you don't know what Vice Typhon does, it says, when this card is normal summoned, you contribute a DD monster, special summon 1 level 7 DD monster from your deck. Which is kind of neat, but it has to be on normal summon. But the other effect is, during your main phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or higher DD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials on it from your graveyard, including this card. So basically it's another Necro Slime, but it's a big Necro Slime that you can just ditch, and then you can fusion summon out Big Genghis with it. Or you can even, it has to be Big Genghis. And it fulfills the requirement because it's like a level 7, and Big Genghis requires a level 5 or higher DD and a DD. So this one's really cool. It just lets you get a thing in there, and you can ditch it off of Dark World Dealings. You can ditch it off of other things, 1 for 1. So there's a lot of ways you can ditch it, or just straight send it with Copernicus. Then we also have the other tuner, which is DD Ghost. DD Ghost is a level 2 tuner that says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you target a DD monster or Dark Contract card in your graveyard, except Ghost, and send 1 card from your deck to the graveyard with the same name. Which kind of sucks. But then it says, if this card is banished, you can target 1 of your banished DD monsters or Dark Contract cards, except Ghost, return it to the graveyard. So this card is really cool for being an allure target. I used to play 2 Ghost, but I think I cut it to 1, simply because it just wasn't as useful. And for our level 4 tuner, we're playing DD Orthros, which is, its pendulum effect is once per turn, you can target a spell or trap on the field and 1 other DD or Dark Contract card you control and destroy them. So, really cool little card. It's level 4 tuner, which comes up every now and then, but its monster effect is, when you take battle or effect damage, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned to your field, you cannot special summon monsters for this turn except Fiends, which is kind of bad. So, whatever. Then we have the level 3 tuner, which is 1 DD Night Howl. And the reason we're playing Night Howl is because he's a Monster Reborn. It says when this card is normal summoned, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except Fiend type monsters. That monster's attack and defense becomes 0. If it is destroyed, you take 1,000 damage. So basically, I've used this. The old combo with Night Howl was to summon Baphomet. And Night Howl actually came out in the structure deck, while Baphomet was not in the structure deck. He was from another set. Which is kind of strange considering how intertwined the 2 cards are. Like, they are designed to go together, because he lets you modulate levels. This is a tuner that summons him from the graveyard. So, and then the last one is 1 DD Destiny King 0 Laplace. And this card is pretty cool. It says, during your main phase, you can add 1 face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, except Laplace. You can only use this effect of Laplace once per turn. And then it says, you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing a DD monster. And then it says, before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can activate this effect. This card's attack becomes double that opponent's monster's original attack until the end of the damage step. If this card attacks a defense-position monster, inflict piercing. The first time this card would be destroyed by battle, each turn it is not destroyed, and you take no battle damage. Laplace is kind of nuts. He's big, he's scary, and you basically just load him into the pendulum scale with by using Gilgamesh. Hang on, it's not in here. Give me a second. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay, so the reason I kind of flipped there for a second is because I almost forgot to I put him in with the spells. Because I mentioned him and I was like, hang on, yeah, I'm forgetting a card. This is DDD 0 Chaos King Apocalypse. So this card is the one that a lot of people probably recognize right now. He's a level 7. It says you can banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard, special summon this card from the Pendulum Zone, and you just load him into the Pendulum Zone using Gilgamesh. So he becomes a lot better with that. Then it says, during your opponent's turn, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 2 face-up spell cards you control. You cannot special summon monsters for this turn except fiends. Also destroy the targeted cards, and if you do special summon this card, this is a quick effect. You can only use this effect of Apocalypse once per turn. So, but he's usually not going in the graveyard. He's a level 7, so you like can synchro him into Siegfried using Lamia. But yeah, so there you go. There's the one-ofs. We play a lot of one-of deities. There is 7 of them, so. Which, I think if you were to cut one of them, you'd probably cut the Baphomet, the Night Howl, or the Vice Typhon. You could cut those. Which, you know, if you cut those, that gives you, so if you cut Night Howl, you cut Baphomet, and you cut Vice Typhon, that gives you slots to play hand traps. So, there you go. Setting those aside, getting into the spells, we have 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. This is the Rota for the deck. It literally just says during your main phase you can add 1 DD monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effective contract with the Gate once per turn. And then it says once per turn during your standby phase, take 1,000, which all the Dark Contracts say once per turn during the standby phase, take 1,000. Then we also have 2 Dark Contract with the Swamp King. This one says during your main phase you can fusion summon a fiend type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. But if you're fusion summoning a deity monster, you can also banish materials from your graveyard. And then it says, of course, take 1,000 damage, and you can only use it once per turn. So there we go. Those are the 5 Dark Contracts we're running. I know some people only play 1 Swamp King, but I like 2. I just feel that it's better to have 2. And setting those aside for our other cards, our like draw cards and consistency, 3 Allure, because the whole deck is dark. There's literally no reason not to play Allure. So, and I'm kind of gonna blow through these ones just because like a lot of these spells, people know what they do. Dark World Dealings, again just for consistency, and for our one-ofs, Monster Reborn, Foolish Burial, and 1 for 1. So, gets back stuff, sends things to the graveyard because the deck needs stuff in the graveyard, and lets you discard, which is kind of nice for the deck. You can also play like Pot of Desires if you really want to. I play a lot of one-ofs in the deck, so I didn't want to. And with that said, that is the main deck. Let's move into the extra deck. And of course, we're gonna start it off with the new guy, Dedede Abyss King Gilgamesh. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for this, so you guys can actually see this card a little better. There we go. So Dedede Abyss King Gilgamesh on release wasn't actually that good, but now he's become a lot better with Master Rule 5, now that we can just spam the board. So Gilgamesh needs 2 DD monsters to summon, and it says if this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon for this turn except DD monsters. Also place 2 DD Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck into your Pendulum zones, and if you do, take 1,000 damage. If this Link Summon card is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster or by opponent's card effect while in an owner's monster zone, you can special summon 1 DD monster from your extra deck or graveyard in defense position. You can only use each effect of Abyss King Gilgamesh once per turn. So, and he has 1,800 attack, so he actually has like a decent little stat line for a Link 2, since Link 2s seem to have like in general 15 to 2,000 attack. Alongside him, we do have 2 Flame King Genghis. Flame King Genghis says if a DD monster is special summoned to your field while he's on the field, you can target 1 DD monster from in your graveyard and special summon it, which is really cool. He also has an effect to recover Dark Contracts when he's sent to the graveyard, but it doesn't come up all that often. We're also playing 1 Dedede Flame King High King Flame Genghis, and this needs a level 5 or higher DD monster plus a DD monster. And then it says, if another DD monster is normal or special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can target 1 DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use that effect of Genghis once per turn. Once per turn when a spell or trap card is activated, once per your turn, sorry, let me be specific, once per your turn, when a spell trap card or its effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. So, which is really weird, but you know, it can, I don't know what it can negate. It's supposed to negate your Dark Contracts, but it's not a very good one. I'm also playing 1 Beowulf. Not everyone plays Beowulf, but I like Beowulf. He gives all DD monsters piercing, and then he also, during the standby phase, your standby phase, you can destroy all cards in the spell and trap zones. His other effect is that he is, his summoning requirements is a DDD monster and a DD, so pretty neat little thing. He has 3,025, so he's actually like really big, and he's level 8. So if you just need to get out something that can push for damage, he's definitely one of those things. He kind of replaces Pentastag in a way, as long as you can fusion summon, which you should be able to. I am playing 2 Gust King Alexander. Gust King Alexander is kind of the opposite to Genghis in a lot of ways. They're intertwined in a lot of ways. So he needs a DD tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters, and it says if another DD monster is normal or special summoned to your field while you control this face-up card, you can target a level 4 or lower DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Gust King Alexander once per turn. And yeah, so you know, he's a little better because it can be off normal summon, but he's also can only hit level 4 or lowers, but that's fine. Gust King Alexander is really cool. And I think 2 is correct. There's a lot of times where I need a second one, so that's the main reason I'm playing it. Alongside him, we also have the DDD Cursed King Siegfried, and this guy is probably the best, not the best one, but he's really good because it's just a straight up negate. So it says during the player's turn, you can target a face-up spell or trap card on the field. That target has its effects negated until the next standby phase. And that is a quick effect. It says during the player's turn, so it is quick. And then it says you can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect into the graveyard, gain 1,000 life points for each Dark Contract card you control. And he has 2,800 attack, so like he's really big. I like Siegfried. Siegfried's really cool. The last DDD synchro we play is DDD High King Alexander. And High King Alexander I'm playing purely for damage. It says if 3 or more DDD monsters are on the field, this card gains 3,000 attack. So he goes to 6,000. And it says if another DD monster is normal or special summoned to your field while this card is on the field, except during the damage step, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Alexander once per turn. So we can make this using Ghost and Siegfried. We can also make it using Night Howl and Alexander. You can also cheat it out using like Baphomet and Lamia and other stuff like that. So there's ways to make this. It's not the most consistent thing. I don't make this constantly, but it is an option where if I need more things on the field or I just want to push for damage, this guy does help put it out. And this thing plus Beowulf is nuts. For other synchros, I'm playing Formula Synchron for a draw, TG Hyper Librarian, which I've thought about cutting Hyper Librarian because like I don't go into it all that often, and I could play D-Arc instead, but I don't know. I feel like there's a better option than Hyper Librarian, so if you know a better option, let me know. And then I'm also playing Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon because, of course, this deck loves Crystal Wing. And you just make this using Lamia and Gust King. And then as for Xyz, I'm playing one Wave King High Caesar, and this card is awesome. This thing is so cool. So it needs 2 level 6 Fiends, and it says when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster, quick effect, detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can make one other DD monster and you control and this card gain 1,800 attack until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. So really cool, and that's not a once per turn effect. Like he can solemn 2 things, which is pretty nuts. He's a solemn warning on legs, which is really cool, and he has 2,800 attack. So he's really big. You make this often. I use like Baphomet to modulate a level, but one of the ways I've seen is 2 Genghis just overlaid, because you can revive the little Genghis pretty easy. Of course, we also have Duodong King Kali Yuga. If you guys don't know what Kali Yuga does, when he hits the board, he negates everything for the turn, and then he also is a Heavy Storm. He's another card that you play. He's 3,500 too, so he's really beefy. Yeah, and he's a quick effect Heavy Storm. And then the last Xyz we play is Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy for another negate. So there we go. That is my DDD deck, and this is one of those decks I've had for a long time. I've played it a lot in high school because it was new and it was like the strongest thing, and I was really excited about it. So let me zoom out just to touch the. I was really excited about this, and I still really like this deck. I still have a lot of fun playing this. I actually played it recently, and I misplayed a lot, and I hated myself because I was like, man, I shouldn't have misplayed that much. But yeah, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions for the deck, let me know. I've kept up a little bit with what's going on in DDDs. I know that their extra deck has changed a lot. So, but let me know what you guys think. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.